Really? Another podcast with just six white guys, no people of color, no women, no diversity at all whatsoever. This has been some of the response to the announcement that I, with a couple of my friends, are starting this new podcast called Find Out. And it's a criticism that I expected. The six of us met through White Dudes for Harris, so it's kind of our identity. We're six white men who came together to support the first black woman as president of the United States. And prior to that campaign, none of us had ever really used TikTok before, but collectively, we now have over something like 3 million followers. My name is Christopher Goldsmith. I'm a former United States Army sergeant. I deployed to Iraq in 2005, became a veterans advocate, became a lobbyist for a veterans organization, and now I have a really weird job where I hunt Nazis. I run two organizations, Veterans Fighting Fascism and Task Force Butler Institute, that trains veterans to do what I do, to scour the internet for evidence of things like hate crimes so that we can hold bad people accountable in a court of law. So considering that I am quite literally risking my life and putting my family at risk to do this work, to put neo-Nazis, white supremacists, other domestic extremists behind bars and in debt after they get tremendous judgments against them because we help out victims of hate crimes, I'll admit I am someone who has pretty tough skin, but I do get annoyed by that kind of response to this announcement. And it's something that until today I didn't address publicly. And part of the reason why is because I'm letting black women speak. It is black women who are the base of the Democratic Party, who are the spine of the Democratic Party. It is they who've been in the comments section telling people to knock it the fuck off. Because the goal of this new podcast, Find Out, is to display a healthy version of masculinity. Because the far right isn't just radicalizing young white men online. It's investing in them. It's elevating them. It's bringing them closer to pathways to power. And me and my fellow hosts of this new podcast, we're stepping into this space because we feel someone has to. Find Out is going to be showing people that masculinity and toxicity are not synonymous. We're here to challenge the right-wing narratives that equate strength with cruelty and power with domination. I've been organizing veterans, investigating threats to my community from both foreign actors and domestic extremists, whether it's Russian troll farms or domestic hate groups. And I'm going to be bringing my unique perspective to this podcast with 5 other guys that have very different kinds of lives. And to be clear, this is not a show that's made for white men. It's for everyone. But our hope is that we can reach those who the Democratic Party and the liberal media establishment, or whatever you want to call it, have been failing to reach. They've been losing people who look and sound like me. The reason that I have a very large TikTok following, over 200,000 followers, and now a verified profile, is because I created a video where I was talking about my identity. And I was asking the question, do you think I would really vote for someone like Kamala Harris? I said things like, I'm a combat veteran, I'm a gun owner, I'm a small business creator, an entrepreneur. I drive a big truck made right here in the United States. Do you really think that I would vote for someone like Kamala Harris? And then I made the reveal and had this shirt on. And it quickly got over 1 million views. So I know that that resonates with people. Whether it's working with Veterans for Harris or White Dudes for Harris or hunting Nazis, I am using my identity, the privilege that comes with it, and I am wielding it as a weapon against the far right, Republicans, MAGA, Trump, and Musk, because I believe that this fight is worth it. And I feel that I have an obligation to wield my privilege in that way. But I'm just one co-host. We have guys from Gen Z to Gen X, born in 1967 to born in 2003. 2003 is the year that I graduated high school. It's the year that the Iraq War started, the war that I fought in. We have guys who are going to be giving their perspectives on life in America, And not just politics, from New York City to the Deep South, to the Rust Belt, to the Colorado Rockies, and to deep red Idaho. This group consists of Democratic insiders, grassroots organizers who are more into like the Bernie brand of politics, to former Republicans, and everything in between. And it is our hope that joining together, we can help to peel away some of the young white men who've been radicalized through disinformation and extremist content that has become normalized, not just by MAGA, but by the entire GOP for decades. The far right has owned the social media ecosystem, the information system that all of us depend on. Whether it's television or radio or Facebook or Instagram or Threads or Twitter or any of the right-wing social media platforms that have sprung up in the last few years. According to Media Matters for America, a nonprofit that just released a study this week, when you aggregate everything, whether it's podcasts or YouTube shows, TikTok, Twitter, the right wing has 5 times more influence than the left. So is it a stupid idea to create a podcast that features 6 white guys as the co-host? I don't know. Maybe. I hope not. But in this moment, I think we ought to try new things. And that's what we're doing with Find Out. We're dropping our first episode on Tuesday. You can follow us on Substack to get it immediately. And as we start to build this thing out, it will be available everywhere you can find a podcast. So like any content creator or show that you want to succeed, we're going to depend on you doing things like sharing, commenting, following. If you believe in us, we need to see a market signal that tells us that yes, there is a demand for this. If there is, I can commit to you that we will continue this mission. And we will do our very damn best to try to make up for that current 5-to-1 ratio of right-wing influencers against left-wing influencers.